오늘도 차 안에서 예습 낭독을 해보도록 하겠습니다. Day 16 예습 낭독을 해보겠습니다. 자, 딱 떨어지고요. 요거 그리고 공유 한번 하고 또 갈게요. 공유를 어디다가 해야 되나요? 링크 복사. 그리고 여기 있나요? 카카오톡. 카카오톡, 단톡, 단체 방해해야겠죠? 채팅. 여기 확인. 입니다. 예습하고 있고요. 자, 다시 돌아와서 여기는 끄고. 네. 자, 그러면은 Day 16 읽어보도록 하겠습니다. 제가 잘 나오겠죠? Day 16. I wish we had a better hot water heater so the water wasn't so cold all the time. She didn't say anything. She probably felt bad like me. I felt like maybe we should make some unselfish wishes. She said, maybe we can each make one unselfish wish. I wish for a house for you and for Mom. I wish you would be happy forever. That left out Father. I didn't know what he wanted most. It seemed the only thing he wanted was to take care of us. Every time it was his birthday, we got him aftershave lotion that our mother paid for. He always seemed to like it. I said, I wish Dad never loses his hair like Grandpa did before he died. The last thing before we went to bed, Lynn and I would talk about what we should spend our money on the next day. Every weekday, our father gave us a nickel to get ourselves a treat. But that night, Lynn said, from now on, we are going to save our nickels to help Mom and Dad buy our first house. That way, instead of just wishing for a house, we are helping to really get one. That was a hard thing to agree with, but I didn't argue because Lynn was boss. Usually when Lynn got home after school, we would go to the market where we studied the streets for a long time before picking out what we wanted. Often a powdered sugar donut. Then we would walk along the highway eating. It was sad to think all that was over, but I guessed a house would be worth it. Good night, Katie, she said. Good night. During the autumn, the sultry air made us tired, but not too tired. If it was too hot, we took a nap before supper. Then Lynn would read to me. Since she was a genius, she could read anything, even Encyclopedia Britannica. We had the P volume from Encyclopedia Britannica that somebody had left behind in our house in Iowa when we moved in. We planned to read it all the way through. Our other favorite book was Silas Marner. We were quite capitalistic and liked the idea of Silas keeping all that gold underneath the floorboards. Whenever Lynn was late from school, I would cry. Mrs. Kanagawa would tell my mother whenever I cried. My mother and I was a crybaby. My mother said I was a crybaby, but Lynn said I was actually happy because it was my nature to be so. Just like it was Lynn's nature to be a genius. It was also Lynn's nature to be a little bossy. Mrs. Kanagawa told me that. Lynn didn't seem to be making many friends at school. She spent a lot of time with me. That was the way I passed the first year in Georgia, waiting all day for Lynn to come home and then playing with Lynn until bedtime. When summer came again, we played all day and all night until bed. By the time I was 6 and ready to start school, my accent had already become very southern. I no longer called my sister Lynn. I called her Leon. Leon? I was kind of a celebrity in my neighborhood. The little Japanese girl who said you all instead of you, and you don't say instead of really. Sometimes people would pay me too few pennies to talk to them. My sister encouraged this enterprise, and soon we were rich. 여기까지가 day 16이네요. 재밌는 부분이 나오네요. 이제 그 니클이면 정말 작은 돈이죠. 페니 다음에 니클이죠. 미국 그 동전 유닛인데 그거를 받았대요. 용돈을 일주일에 한 번씩. 그래서 원래는 맛있는 거를 사 먹었는데 treat 하면 이제 그런 거 사 먹었는데 그거를 모아서 엄마 아빠 집 사는데 도와주겠다고 하고 있네요. 네, 그럼 오늘 day 16 다음 주 월요일에 읽을 부분 키라키라 거기까지 해볼게요. 시청해주셔서 감사합니다. 뿅. Have a great weekend.